now tuned into the Truth with G. Inspire, educate, and uplift. If you can't handle the truth, this ain't the show for you. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So sit back, relax, and buckle up and enjoy this ride.
The Truth with G. The Truth with G. The Truth with G.
All right. You're now listening to the Truth with G on WPMM Internet Radio. I am your boy, Gerald Graham. You know me as G. Once again, we are back to talk about the issues that matter to you and your community. Hope all is well with everyone. Hope all is well. Hope everybody had a great weekend. It's Monday once again. And like about 30 minutes ago, it was Monday. Monday comes so quick nowadays, but I hope you had a great weekend. Hope you got out and did some things. Enjoyed some of the on and off weather that we have in Northwest Florida, the Panhandle over here. So, but now I want to thank you for joining me right here on WPMM Internet Radio for the Truth with G, where we are here every Monday, Thursday, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I want to thank my listening audience for tuning in. I really do appreciate you guys for tuning in. Appreciate my ride or dies. Appreciate my part-time listeners. Appreciate my first-time listeners. Even my undercover listeners. I really do appreciate you. Even my haters that be spying on me, that just sit and listen to see what I'm going to say. I appreciate you too. Because if you're listening, that means I'm saying something that's getting under your skin, and that's what I really want to do, is get up under your skin so we can make some things happen and turn some things around. So if I'm not agitating, I'm not doing my job. But like I say, once again, it's Monday. Been back on the grind. It's been an interesting weekend for me. Interesting week. Got the big dog back in school. He's back on campus, football practice, whole 9 yards. So we're gonna wish him well in his endeavors in his new school at Tuskegee University, where he'll be playing this year. And he'll be playing football. Also, he is going back to track and field, where he'll be throwing shot put and discus as well. So that's very exciting for him. So, we're excited. All right, we are WPMM, where we play more music. We play the best in R&B, jazz, neo soul, independent hip hop, old school music. You can listen from the website at WPMMradio.com, or you can go to TuneIn, iTunes Radio. You can tell Alexa to play WPMM. She will oblige as well. You can also, we're live on Facebook. We're on my Facebook page, Ttwg Graham. It will be also posted on WPMM Facebook page, Jeff Dawson, WPMM Radio. So you can check us out there. Also on YouTube. But just about any streaming device, we are live on there as well. The views and opinions expressed by individual radio hosts and guests are of their own and does not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of WPMM Radio. WPMM does not intend to rely with any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. Now that we have taken care of the particulars, got that out of the way. On today's show, we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about this 2024 election, and I label it Kamala or criminal, or Kamala or convict, if you will, however you want to say it, criminal, convict. That's the situation that we have right now. I also want to hear from, excuse me. I also want to hear from you as well. I do want to hear from you. I'm not taking phone calls. However, you can put your comments. If you're listening on Facebook or watching on Facebook, you can drop your comments into the comment section on Facebook. And I will read your comment and we will discuss your statement, your question, or what have you, whatever the case may be. We will definitely discuss it and include it in this conversation today. And here's one thing I really want to stress. And with this election, people tend to want to take this election lightly. We cannot afford to take this election lightly in no kind of way, because this election is going to pave the way to determine if we're going to have any type of democracy, any type of rule of law, any type of uh, legitimacy as a country. We have an idiot that is running for president that is the biggest threat to democracy, the biggest threat to national security than any terrorist group, to any foreign country, to any other dictator out there, whether it be Xi of China, whether it be Putin in Russia, whether it be Kim Jong Un in North Korea, Netanyahu. This election is going to determine your freedoms or your lack of freedom, however you want to phrase it. And my, I'm making it my job to make sure that you guys understand the severity of this election. I want to make sure you understand the ramifications if you do not get out and vote. And I have never tried to tell anybody who to vote for. I always told people you need to vote, especially black people, because of what our forefathers went through to make sure that we as black people had an opportunity to just go to the polls and cast our vote. Our and I'm going to call them our forefathers. They literally fought, bled, and died. My bad, people. My bad, people. I was just checking something. I don't know what the audio sounds like, but there's something going on in the audio. And my apologies if that's the case. But our forefathers, the people in the civil rights movement, dating back to the 1950s, 1960s, those people paved the way for us to be able to just go into a polling place and place our vote. Prior to the Voting Rights Act, we couldn't even cast a vote. Even after the Voting Rights Act was implemented, we had to jump through hoops. We had to answer questions like, how many grains of sand is on the beach, and shown a picture or a jar of jelly beans, and we had to answer how many jelly beans was in the jar in order to go through the process of getting a voter's card, if you will, and being able to vote. So even after the Voters' Right Act was passed, they still made it a way to make it complicated for black people to vote. And for any black person to say right now in this day and age that they're not going to vote because they just don't want to vote, I think that's a slap in the face, a disrespect to those who fought, bled, and died, all those civil rights activists, if you will, and not just the activists, the people that were out front, the communities that joined in, the thousands of people that joined in the marches for our freedoms and whatnot. It's like a slap in the face to them. It's like they did that for no reason. They went through having dogs sicked on them and bitten by dogs and being beaten by police officers with billy clubs and being maced, tear gas and hit with water hoses and locked up in jails. The jails in Montgomery and the jails in Georgia, Atlanta, those places um, stayed full of activists and people who were on the front lines protesting for this right. And that right is to vote. So at least we need to respect those who paved the way for us, respect them enough to go to the poll. And like I said, I've never been one to say who you should vote for, but this is an election where I have to say you have to vote blue. It's not an option. It's not a Um, Something you need to really sit and think about because of the repercussions of not voting blue. A red government is going to put us back in the days of Jim Crow. A lot of people don't know what Jim Crow is, and I can mention Jim Crow to people, and they be like, what's that? Jim Crow is an era that you don't want to go back to. Jim Crow is an era where we did not have rights. Period. We didn't have any rights. Uh, the laws were written to make sure that we didn't have any rights. They were written to make sure that we stayed oppressed and oppressors stayed in control. And that's where we're going back to if you guys don't get out and vote. Um, a non-vote is a vote for the idiot, here point blank. If you just say, well, I'm not going to vote for anybody, that's a vote for the orange idiot. And this is the first time in history, probably the history of any country, not just the United States. And I have to research this information just to vet it. First time in history where we could possibly have a sitting president that's either serving a jail sentence or have to report to a probation office. I know that sounds kind of retarded, but that's the reality. If you guys don't get out and vote, we can literally have a president that has to report to a probation officer or maybe potentially incarcerated. The crimes that he has been convicted of, 34 felony counts. If it was you or I, we would be in a jail cell. We wouldn't be out campaigning. We would be in a jail cell as we speak. But we have someone who has manipulated the system, has manipulated courts, and has weaponized the court system against the court system. And he's free to campaign as president of the United States when any other person with the same convictions would be locked up. So this vote is crucial, people. This vote is as crucial as it gets. It don't get any more crucial than this. If you want to continue to have freedom, and we know that Black people still to this day are struggling to maintain or even to get the same types of freedom as our counterparts. That the little bit of strides that we have made forward are going to be wiped away, and we're going to start walking backwards. And I can't stress that point enough. I can't, you know, I get frustrated. I get frustrated when I talk to people, particularly Black people, and they don't see the light, and they are blanketed in ignorance, if you will. And I'm not using the word ignorance in a necessarily a derogatory fashion in this particular context. I'm using it to say they have a very, very interesting way of seeing things. They lack the knowledge that they need to make a crucial decision. And I'm gonna talk about my Black people here in a minute. I got some things to get off my chest about Black people, particularly those that I saw in Atlanta this weekend. I got some words for you, but I'm gonna say them for a little bit here later. I got some choice words for you. So if anybody in Atlanta, in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia area, if you're listening, stay close. If you don't fall into the category of the people who I'm talking about, then don't worry about it. But if you do, listen closely. Just stay tuned for it. But here's the deal. in this presidential election. Mr. Martin, what's going on, Mr. Martin? Look, Mr. Martin is on. Appreciate you listening, sir. But in this presidential election, we have two choices. Just like when Biden was in the race, before he decided to drop out or step aside, if you will. I don't see it as a matter of dropping out. It was necessary for him to step aside. Um, but even when Biden was in, it was a choice of two people. At that point, it was Biden or the orange idiot. Now it's Harris or the orange idiot. Harris has secured enough votes and delegates to be the nominee for the Democratic Party. So that's going to happen. We know the ticket started out as Biden Harris. Now the ticket will be Harris and somebody else. It appears, as it stands right now, it appears that it may be Shapiro, a Jewish candidate for vice president. So that's the choice. The orange idiot or Kamala Harris. There is no other choice. There's the idiot third party candidate, which is Kennedy. He's probably more stupid than Trump, but he may not have the same racist thoughts that Trump may have, but he's as stupid as Trump as a third party candidate. Now, if you're dumb enough to vote for Kennedy as a third party candidate, then you just really need some mental health treatment of some sort, because he's about as dumb as a wet sock, and that's not. I'm not saying that lightly. I'm saying that literally. But those are your choices, people, and it bothers me. It bothers me when I see, particularly a black person, even more a black woman, that is supporting or will vote for Trump. That is very troublesome, no matter how I look at it. Because if you are let's take the side of a woman real quick. If you are a woman and you're going to vote for Trump, in my eyes, you don't value yourself as a woman, period. Again, this is my opinion, but my opinion is based in factual information, factual evidence. It's not just based on, how I feel about somebody. It's based on what these people have said and done in their history and in the present, if you will. I can't see how you can be a woman and support the platform that this dumbass is putting forth. And not just him, but the whole Republican Party as a whole. That's why I say that when I say I've never been one to say who to vote for, now I'm saying vote blue. Because it's a matter of voting for morality or voting for indecency. Because everything that the Republican Party is doing right now is indecent. Is a lot of it is inhumane. A lot of it is without respect for anyone or anything, being black or female or any member of the LGBTQT plus community, or being and particularly a Hispanic immigrant. If you coming from Ireland or you coming from Australia, whatever, you're not getting that bad talk. He's not calling you rapists and criminals and people out of insane asylums, and he's not calling the ones with the light skin all these bad names. But if you're coming uh, from uh, across the southern border from Mexico and Guatemala and Cambodia and Haiti and all these countries south of the border, you are not wanted by the Republican Party, period. They don't even want to create a path for you to come in legally, let alone illegally. So if you're a woman and you're planning to vote for this platform and you're planning to vote for a party and a candidate that is pushing this Project 2025, a party that has got the Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade after 50 some odd years of that being the law of the land, where you had the right to choose what you want to do with your body, and it shouldn't even be a right. It shouldn't even be something that the government has to regulate or say yes, no, or whatever to you. You should, as a woman, you should be able to do what you want to with your body. And it's evident because if you look at the male perspective, and if you look at the laws of the land when it comes to a male, there is not a law anywhere that tells a male what he can and cannot do with his own body. But a bunch of men, particularly a bunch of a majority of a bunch of old white men, put into law. And then it is young women that voted for all this crap as well. They made it to where women don't have rights over their own bodies. Your coochie belongs to the government, and that should not be. You don't own nothing else, you should own your own coochie. You should have a say-so of what goes in and what goes out of that thing. But the government got control of it. They can tell you what's going in and what's not going or coming out. That makes no sense. But this party is pushing that. This according to Project 2025, if that comes to fruition, it's going to be a nationwide ban on abortions, even in cases of incest or rape, which means that the sick perverts that are out there screwing our children, raping our children, if they impregnate these children, that means our children have to carry their rapist babies to term, and then be forced to raise that rapist baby. And I know for you Christian folks, and you're gonna try to tell me that baby is born, and baby is most precious, whatever. But damn all that. I could imagine. I'm not a woman, but I can't imagine. I cannot fathom being an 11, 12-year-old girl and being raped and then impregnated by the person that's raping me, or the uncle that's molesting me, or the father or the grandfather that's molesting me, and I've become pregnant at 11, 12 years old. Now I got to carry this person's baby that's been abusing me. I cannot imagine the psychological damage that that child has to undergo, and then for that child to have to raise that baby, to have to raise a baby of the rapist, and every single day. And again, I'm just trying to put it in perspective. I can just imagine that that little 12-year-old, that 13-year-old having to look at that baby and say, "That's you look like the motherfucker that raped me." And then you hope, then I can assume that they're gonna hold resentment against that child because they may look like the person that violated them. All because the government says that you have to continue to be a lifelong victim of your rapist. Project 2025 is going to even go further than abortion. It's going to go uh, against contraception alone, where you won't even be able to get birth control pills. You won't be able to get the morning after pill because according to them and according to their sick religious beliefs, and that's a whole nother show. Because I need to talk about these Christian folks. That's a whole nother show though. But according to their beliefs, life begins at conception. So that means as soon as you finish doing what you're doing, and if that if that sperm and that egg has connected, you can't do anything about it from that point. You can't even take a morning after pill to stop the process because that morning after pill is going to go away. The birth control pills is going to go away. You won't be able to get birth control because the contraceptives are going to be outlawed. So now you're going to be sitting in a situation where you're going to have to revert to uh, back alley tactics to terminate pregnancies. They're even in this Project 2025, and again, if you don't know the details of Project 2025, please go and research. Um, even though when they overturned Roe v. Wade, what that did was made it to where it wasn't across the board nationwide, where anywhere in the nation you have the right to have an abortion. They sent the rights back to the states. Now it allowed the states to make the determination as to if in their state if you can have an abortion and at what stage. Some states you cannot have an abortion, period. Some states you got a 6 week, like here in Florida, you got 6 weeks. And most people don't even know they're pregnant in 6 weeks. Even 12 weeks. Most people don't even know they're 12 weeks. Some states 12 weeks. But under Project 2025, they're going to make it to where again at conception, and that's going to be nationwide. But now the states can say what's what, and even if if it's if it still is falls in the hands of the state. Let's say if you live in Florida and it's banned in Florida, whatever case may be, and if you can travel to a state where you can legally get an abortion within the time frames or parameters that whatever the government set for you to do with your own coochie. If you travel to that other state, if you get pregnant in Florida and then try to travel to the other state, they're going to make that a crime where you can be criminally prosecuted for doing what you want to do with your own body. That's fucked up no matter how you look at it. But this is what we're voting for November 5th. This is on the ballot. It's not written out the way you're going to look at your ballot and it's going to say Project 2025. It's not going to read that way on the ballot. It's going to read Donald J. Trump. Everything that I just talked about is under that name. You can pencil it in. You can write it in. You can visually or mentally add it under his name if you decide to choose that side of the ballot. This is one of the most crucial votes in my lifetime. And I came up, I was born in 67. And, the Civil Rights Bill was just being passed. Voter rights bill was just, the Civil Rights Bill was just being passed around that time. Martin Luther King was killed less than a year after I was born. Um, so I was born right there in the middle of all that when all that was going on. But this is crucial, people. You can't be stupid. I don't want my people to be stupid. And speaking of stupid, let's go to Atlanta this weekend. A couple things took place over the last few days in Atlanta. We had Vice President Kamala Harris in Atlanta. She did a rally, a campaign rally there in Atlanta, and I watched the rally, and she got a lot of cheers, a lot of applause in her speech. She was on there for a short period of time. It don't take all day to get your point across. She came on. She was welcomed. She was greeted. She was applauded. She gave her agenda, her platform, as far as what she wanted her president term to look like. She laid out an agenda. She laid out a plan as to what she was going to do, and this, that, the other. She had a whole plan and process, and this was less. This was just not even barely a week into her being the candidate or a potential candidate at that point in time. But she laid out a whole agenda. I've been watching these idiot Trump rallies for quite some time, and I have yet to hear any policy position or any type of plan or any agenda or what or any type of legislation that they're going to try to get through in the orange idiots incoherent rants that he does at these rallies. Haven't heard anything policy wise. And then he denies knowing anything about Project 2025 when the reality is his own people put it together. When the reality is he announced it himself in 2022 that the Heritage Foundation or Heritage Project, whatever they are the ones that's the orchestrators and will be putting that agenda together. He announced that himself, but now he talking to you dumbasses who support him, and anything that he says you believe, even though he says I'm different then, and he's saying now, you still believe him and you still support him because you're a fucking idiot. That's why. But let's talk about these black people in Atlanta. And I'm not talking about all black people in Atlanta. I'm only talking about the ones that I saw on camera and the ones that I have to assume were in the audience of the rally that the pedophile did in Atlanta this weekend. And if you wonder what I'm talking about, go look it up. Just look at the Trump rally in Atlanta, Georgia, and just watch it. And in the background, anytime he has a rally, he always put people behind him. There's normally one or two tokens strategically positioned behind him to where they make sure that they show up on camera. Now, in this particular rally, there were several black people that was posted behind him. And I'm assuming they did that because they were in Atlanta, and they know Atlanta, Fulton County is one of the main counties in that particular area. Fulton County, Cobb County, uh, uh, Riverdale area, all the surrounding areas around the perimeter of 285 there in Georgia is majority black people. That's the counties that were able to put two black senators in the Senate. Even though they did not get enough votes because of the situation there. They couldn't get the right person in as governor. Kemp stayed on as governor, but Fulton County, Cobb County, those surrounding areas, Marietta, it's Cobb County, but those were the ones who made the difference in the last election when it came to winning Georgia, because they showed up and they voted, and uh, they were able to put not only those senators over the top, but uh, win the state for Joe Biden. And it was, if you haven't been watching, it was 11,000 some odd votes, and those are the same votes that the orange idiot called the governor and the election officials and whatever, and said, just find me some votes so I can, I can say I won. Another crime that he may not even be brought up uh, as far as a trial because he owns the court system. But anyway, back to the rally. And I hate talking about my people. I hate speaking negative about my people. But it's necessary that I do so. Because I don't need you to be a bunch of fucking dumbasses. And I don't like calling my people dumbasses. I want to be able to say positive things about my people. But when you do stupid shit, I have to call you out. It would be I would be not I would be somebody else if I didn't call you out for your stupidity. Now at that rally, those idiots that stood back behind Trump and held up them signs and made total assholes of themselves. That pissed me off so bad. If I would have been anywhere near Georgia, I would have showed up and personally confronted each one of those black people that was in the back of Trump, holding them signs up and cheering as he disrespected a well-educated, well-spoken, well-qualified black woman. Now that's one thing. And these assholes, especially these men that sat there and cheered why he disrespected this black woman. I don't give a fuck about your political affiliation or whatever the case may be, but as a black man, if you allow an old white racist to disrespect a black woman and you sit and clap and cheer it on, you can kiss the moist part of the crack of my ass. You are a sellout. You shouldn't even be invited to the cookout. You need to stay your ass somewhere else because you are the epitome of a well-disciplined house slave when you have a choice not to be. And I'm disrespecting the house slave because the house slave didn't have a choice. He had to do that to survive. Or she had to do that to survive. You have a choice, but you choose to go with your slave master as a choice and allow this pervert, this pedophile, this rapist, this criminal to disrespect a well-rounded black woman. And I say that even if she had been homeless, uneducated, homeless, as a black man, you still cannot allow a racist pedophile to disrespect a black woman like that. Mr. Claxton put a comment in here. He said, "Gee, why is Getz running for state office instead of going back to Washington? Now, was that move about?" Matt Gaetz, as far as I know, he's running again for for Congress. He's up for re-election in Congress. We have Gay, I forget her first name, that's running against him on the Democratic ticket. She's out of Pensacola or Santa Rosa County, I forget which one. But he's running for that office again, and this is another situation where we have a pedophile in Matt Gaetz that is running, who is currently in that in Congress, in the House of Representatives, representing the district that I live in. But yeah, if he has switched and decided to run for something else, I have not heard that. I need to look that up. But if I'm reading your question correctly, it says, why is Gatz running for state office instead of going back to Washington? Now he is the for this district, the Northwest Florida district. He is our representative in the House of Representatives. So he's not running for. If he's running for a state position, then I need to look into that. I can say that Hale here in Pensacola. She's running for a state office. Um, that I was looking at signs this weekend. That's the state office. This is what confused me a bit. No, it's he'll be, like I say, he'll be the representative for. He is currently the who represents us in Washington in the House of Representatives for this particular district, Northwest Florida. So he has all of Northwest Florida, which is Escambia County, Santa Rosa County, uh, Okaloosa County. He is the district representative in Washington. Then we have our state house. We have a state house, a state senate. Those offices, to my knowledge, he is not running for a state house position, a state house or state senate position, and unless I'll look at that once I get off the air to make sure I'm accurate in that. But he's running for the same office, and her last name is Gay, and I should know her first name because it was right in my brain um, before I start talking about it, and now it's slipping my mind. But her last name is Gay. She is running against him on the Democratic ticket, and that's somebody else we need to get out and we need to vote for. We know Escambia County is Trump country. There are so many dumbasses here in Escambia County that's going to vote for Trump. And the reality is that each and every one of you that's listening, you go to work every day, and you probably sit next to somebody who is applauding Trump and probably got a Trump T-shirt on under their work clothes, and they looking in your face and smiling at you, and at the same time they're supporting your oppression. They're supporting the party that is going to oppress you and try to put you back into Jim Crow. So their smiles, don't be fooled by their smiles. And I hate to tell you, look at it by sideways, but that's what I do. That's why I don't even talk to people at work, because if I find out that you are a Trump supporter, then I got to go off and I got to tell you how fucking stupid you are. Because if you support Trump, you can't like people that look like me. Even if you are the same color and give the same skin tone and whatnot of me, and if you support this thing, that means that you are selling out your own race of people. And I'm not saying that just based on an opinion. I'm basing that on legislation. I'm basing that on the rhetoric that has been spewed. I'm basing that on what's been said in regards to the Republican Party and how they view black people. So it's not that I'm just giving a personal opinion when I say this. There's facts to back up why I feel the way I feel. Okay, it says exactly which is why I was confused, but I will check again too. Yeah, I'll check into that, but I don't think that Matt Gaetz is running for any other office other than to retain his seat in Congress. And speaking of Matt Gaetz has been in Congress for 2 or 3 terms now. This man has yet to pass a bill. He has yet to get any bill out of committee. He has yet to get a bill to come to the floor of the House. So he is basically a waste of fucking time. One, he's a pedophile because he's a criminal because he has evidence to show that he has trafficked in child trafficking. There's evidence to support that. Matter of fact, his counterpart is serving prison time right now for the same thing, but because he is part of MAGA, Matt Gaetz is a part of MAGA, and he supports the Orange Idiot, and right now the judicial system is being run by Donald Trump. He's still able to sit in the House and vote on things that can become law of the land. And he's a criminal. He's a pedophile. And I'm not saying that pedophiles can't be redeemed, but when you're a pedophile and you're going to continue to lie about it and you're going to continue to try to cover it up, and you're going to dupe the American people and particularly the black community, and portray yourself to be something that you're not. That should be an issue to everyone. That should be motivation for everyone to get off their ass and go vote and get people like this out of office. People that go to jail, people that commit crimes can be redeemed. But if you commit a crime, first you need to pay your debt to society. You can't get away with the crimes. But back to these black dumbasses in Georgia. I mean, I was literally sick to my stomach, especially to see these men uh, cheering this racist, this pedophile, this rapist as he disrespected one of our black queens. Those are some sorry ass men, regardless of your party affiliation. You to applaud him, calling this woman names, questioning her heritage, questioning her ability, and what the fuck you applauding for when he said that she couldn't pass the bar exam. How the fuck, and you applauding? She was attorney general of the largest state in the United States. That's a one is an elected position. So she didn't get that position by what the right is trying to say was, he slept her way to that, whatever. She did it. She was elected to the office as state attorney. She was elected to the office. So the people of that state put her in that position. So she wasn't a DEI hire. And when he said that, you clapped, and you patted him on the back, and you acted like a fucking house slave by choice, and you applauded this man degrading this black woman. Or if anybody knows these people, or know who they are, or whatever the case may be, I would love to talk to them. I would love to talk to them. They might not want to talk to me because I'm gonna call them out for what they are, which is a sorry excuse for a black man. Sorry excuse for a man, period, to allow anybody to disrespect the black woman. Now, if you disagree with policy, that's fine. Everybody don't agree on policy. I never agreed on policy. I never agreed on policy, all the policies of black people, and this, that, and that, the other. Um, but policy can always be debated. Humanity is humanity. Respect is respect. Civility is civility. Morals are morals. Mr. Donnell Jackson, he put a comment in. He said, homeless people, he pays them. Uh, if you don't mind, Mr. Jackson, can you clarify exactly a little bit more what you, because I'm trying to understand what that comment means. So if you can clarify that just a bit more. Oh, you're talking about Matt Gates. Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about Matt Gates, but Matt Gates have not passed a bill since he has been in the House of Representatives. He has nothing he has introduced had made it out of committee because everything that he introduced is stupid. Are you talking about Trump? Exactly. Trump pays people, and I'm still trying to investigate what happened to that 13-year-old girl. She just disappeared. That 13-year-old girl, and most people like, what 13-year-old girl you talking about, G? There was a 13-year-old girl that brought allegations against Trump for sexual assault. 13, and this was prior to the 2016 election. And if you think I'm lying, look it up. Google is free. But somehow this 13-year-old girl had just kind of faded in the wind. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody has brought up the fact that the allegations were there at one point in time. It's like they start at the Access Hollywood tape when he said, he can grab people by the pussy. They'll go back to that, or they'll go back to Stormy Daniels. But nobody's talking about this 13-year-old girl. What happened to her? And she's not 13 now. She would be an adult now, but what happened to her? Where is she? Who is she? As far as any type of public record, this 13-year-old girl's name will not be mentioned in public record because she was underage at the time. But the allegations were there for this 13-year-old girl who accused like 27 other women, accused Trump of sexual battery, sexual assault, or rape. But we still have dumbasses. We still have stupid fucking people. Mr. Jackson, that's the same thing I said. There had to be a payoff to shut this woman up. And we know that Trump will pay a non-disclosure, NDA, non-disclosure agreement to anybody who has dirt on him, and will threaten to sue if anybody says something. If they are paid off and they sign this disclosure agreement and they say anything. Stormy Daniels was in that same predicament. She is being sued right now as we speak because she signed the NDA not to say anything about what took place with her and the pedophile. However, she ended up speaking out about it, and now he's suing her for speaking out about what they did. It wouldn't be a non-disclosure agreement if it wasn't nothing to talk about, as he claims. But you dumb fucks out there who's going to vote for this pedophile don't see and don't understand that. And I'm trying to get you to stop being a fucking idiot and stop being stupid. Stop being a member of the cult and see it for what it is. Back to my topic when I was talking earlier, this vote is about morality. This vote is about respect. This vote is about humanity. It's not even about party affiliation at this point. Damn a party. We need to get back to human decency, human right. We cannot go back to Jim Crow. We cannot go to a dictatorship type situation. We can't go to a martial law type situation, because is what's going to happen if the Republican Party take control. They already have the House, and the House is in chaos. House of Representatives, if you wonder what I'm talking about. House of Representatives is in chaos. They cannot pass any bills. This session of Congress has been the worst session of Congress in the history of Congress. They have not passed any bills, any type of bills that means anything positive for the American people, because they are too busy playing revenge politics and trying to go after anybody that goes against their cult leader. That's what they spend all the time in committees doing, going after people. trying to impeach people, trying to, if you're not a part of the Trump cult, they out to get you. All these hearings and our taxpayer dollars are going to bullshit. And if you look at the number of bills that this Congress has passed versus the last Congress, when the Democrats had majority control in the House, they have done nothing. These people in the House of Representatives making $170,000 a year do absolutely nothing. The Democrats are passing bills, and they're getting bills to the floor, and the Republicans are voting it down. And these are bills that can help every one of us. Exactly, Mr. Jackson. We have to make it a sweep. We have to gain control of the House, because again, I mean, right now the Republicans have the majority of the House. We have to gain control of the House. We have to hold on to the majority in the Senate. We have to put a Democrat in the White House. And before Joe Biden leave office, he needs to reform the Supreme Court. He needs to make an executive action or go ahead and propose legislation to increase the number of judges on the Supreme Court, level it out, because it's 6-3 right now. 6 Republican dumbasses against 3 people that got some fucking common sense. So before he leave office and Kamala Harris can continue it on once she get in office, we need to reform the Supreme Court. We need to put the motion forward to add or stack the court, if you will, with 3 Democratic judges. And judges aren't even supposed to be partisan. They're not supposed to be. They're supposed to make rulings based on the law. But this Supreme Court has proven that the Supreme Court is partisan. They are part of the MAGA cult because of the rulings that they have made. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that as an opinion. I'm saying it based on their rulings. So if we can even up the Supreme Court, add 3 justices, add 2 justices, and once there's no majority rule when it comes to whether you are on the right or on the left, when those 12 judges get together and make a ruling, that forces them to make the ruling based on the law, not based on who you're making a ruling for. Because all Clarence Thomas, Alito, all of them are corrupt. We know Kavanaugh is there because Trump handpicked him. We know Amy Coney Barrett is there because Trump handpicked her. Uh, uh, Gorsuch is there because Trump handpicked him, because he knew that they were going to do exactly what he wanted them to do in their rulings. That's why that 2016 election was so important, because we knew going into 2016 in that particular term for the office of the president, there's at least minimum 2 Supreme Court justices would be named in that term. And it turned out there was 3. They blocked Obama from putting a Supreme Court judge in his last year as president. The Republicans did that, which they had never done that before. And then when Trump got in office, and this is Mitch McConnell in the Senate who was spearheading this whole thing. When Trump got in office in his last term, just basically days before he left office, he put another Supreme Court justice on the bench. But Obama couldn't do it because they claimed at that point in time in the last year of the term that you cannot replace Supreme Court justice. But when Trump was in office, they did exactly what they said Obama couldn't do. These are the type of assholes that we're dealing with on the right. That's why I say we have to vote blue. We have to vote down the ticket blue. And for my black people, don't be stupid. Don't be a fucking idiot. If you are, if whatever your reason is, where you say you can't vote for Kamala Harris, you need to reevaluate your life. I don't care. I don't give a fuck who was running on the Democratic ticket. If you knew and understand and had a bit of brain power and understood the ramifications of voting for a Republican candidate at this stage in life, you would know that voting Republican is detrimental to your own situation. Don't be a fucking idiot. Don't be stupid. I don't like talking bad about my people. But when I see my people doing stupid shit, I have to call them out. Especially in this case, right? This election is very, very, very extremely important. You can't sit it out. If you're not registered, get registered. I need to get the information on the dates or whatnot, because the election is less than 90 some odd days away, and it's you know, if the registration is still open, if the window is closing, if it's not already closed. And I apologize for not having the dates and whatnot. My apologies on that. But we got to do right, people. We cannot allow black people to take 10 steps backwards and go back to the days of Jim Crow. And that's what's at stake at this period of time. You think it's bad. You think the justice system handles black people more harsh than what they do white people now. Let the Republicans take over. You'll see how harsh. You'll see the numbers in our prison system. We're only 13% of the population, but we make up 30 some odd percent of the prison population. They're going to put more of us in prison for dumb shit. All the black people that have civil service jobs, they're going to replace them with MAGA idiots. It's in Project 2025. I'm not making this shit up, people. This Project 2025 will allow this rapist to fire any civil service worker he wants to fire and replace him with MAGA loyalists. So if you or somebody you know got a civil service job, your shit is in jeopardy. And if you take your stupid ass out there and vote for Trump, and you fuck around lose your job, then that's your fault. But it's the top of the hour. I went like 3 minutes over, and my apologies. I went a few minutes over, but this is very important. I need you guys to understand, and I'm going to be harping on this until election day and far beyond, because we have to understand that the voting process is the only process that the United States of America have in order to make sure that we're putting the right people in position and in office to make the decisions that's going to best suit our needs, our family needs. And if we sit it out and we just allow the status quo and allow others to dictate what we do without having a voice, then we're complicit to our own demise. And I think my people are smarter than that. I don't want my people to be a bunch of fucking dumbasses. I know my people are smarter than that. If you're part of the cult, educate yourself, get yourself out of the cult. Just get with some people who are decent, humane, respectful, regardless of political affiliation. Learn from them. Educate yourself. Project 2025 is real, people. Don't be fooled. Don't be stupid. But I got to get out of here. I should be back on Thursday. You know how Thursdays is crucial on Thursdays. I'm trying especially now. I'm trying my damnedest to get back on Thursday at 6 o'clock. So I'm going to make every effort to be here because we'll be talking about this every freaking week. And if I have to drum it in your brains, I got to do what I have to do. If I can change one or two, then my work is not in vain. If you're on the fence, you need to get a clue because it's on the side of the fence where you're going to continue to have your freedoms. Other side, you're going back into slavery. But until Thursday, people, till Thursday, y'all be safe out there. Y'all be blessed. And I am out of here.